Hi, in this video um, I want to be talking about culling your files, including raw files, JPEGs and everything else, and trying to cull them pretty fast and using a free program. The free program is Faststone Image Viewer. Now before I go any further, as far as I know, or when I made the making of this video, it only works on Windows, it don't work on Mac. No doubt there are some good programs out there that work on Mac, uh, but this Faststone at the moment only works on Windows. I know you can run Windows system on Mac if you wanted to go to that trouble, and have both systems working, and then you can get these free programs. I've tried other programs. There's a really good program called Photo Mechanic, but it's quite expensive, and I've used Corel Aftershock Pro that I picked up for just about $20, I think, for £14 or something like that. And that's pretty quick as Corel, but the it tries to make sidecar files and different things, and I'm not bothered about doing that because I just want to cull through my images pretty quickly. Okay, well, once you just type in Faststone into your search engine, and you want the image viewer. Now, although it says image viewer, it is quite a good little editing program as well if you just want to do quick crops and things like that. Now, the way I use the image viewer to cull my images may not be how you work it, but I'll just show you the method that I use. Uh, you're only using a couple of buttons anyway, so you can quickly tag the ones that you want to reject. But I'll just show you how I set things up prior to using it. And what I do is in my pictures on Windows, I've made a folder called to cull, and that folder is where I cull all my images. Here we are. That's it there to cull. I when I import my images from a card or the camera, I I always import them directly into there, and then I know where they are. It'll come a bit more apparent why I do that in a bit. Now, if I open that folder just from the just in the Windows system, you'll see some images in there. These are JPEGs. Then you've got a digital negative, which is the raw file from Pentax. You've got RAF, which is um, Fuji, RW2, which is Panasonic. So you've these different raw files, and as you can see, you can't see the thumbnails of them because Windows is struggling to see all these different raw files. Whereas when we open it up in Faststone, you'll see that you see the thumbnails of these images. This raw file here, by the way, is nearly 50 megabytes, so it's quite a big file, this Fuji one. And you'll see how quickly that Faststone can go through it. So as I say, I always bring all my images into here, and then I know which folder they're in straight away. And, and then when you go into Faststone, if you open it up, what you'll see is your normal sort of folder tree on the left hand side. But what I do is along the top toolbar here, you'll see a folder with a star inside of it, and that's your favourites. So if you double click on that, you can add one of these folders out your folder tree to your favourites, and you can see there I've got to cull. So instead of having to search down the folder tree for where I put my photos, I can just go straight onto that cull folder, and it'll bring them all up. And as you can see now, even that RAF file and the Nikon raw files and things like that, they're all visible now as thumbnails, whereas when you were in the Windows they weren't visible. And the way I've got this set up as my default viewer. I'll show you at end how to do that if you're not sure how to do it. But the way I've got my mouse set up is that I just right click and it takes me through each image. As I say, that one is nearly 50 megabytes, and you can see how quick it goes through all the images. So it's quite easy to get through your image. It's a good little viewer. Now, let me just if I'm struggling a bit, it's because I can't see on my screen because of the recording program. Now, when you first download Faststone and you open it, you might find that when you use the scroll wheel, I've got my scroll wheel set up to magnify, and you can very easily zoom in on the image. But when you first load it, the scroll wheel might move you from image to image. So just quickly, you just need to go into settings, which is on the top there, and then settings again, shortcuts F12, and you'll get this settings screen come up where you can change everything. So you can, if you come down here to the right hand side, your mouse wheel, I've got my mouse wheel to zoom in and out, and I've got mouse click, right click for the next image, and it also at that click left clicks for the second for the previous image. The background, you can just click on here. I've got my background set up as black because our photo club projects and they look better against a black screen. So it's up to you what your background screen is. And the other main thing, you can look at all of these, but the other main thing is to click on, I think it's associations, yeah. Click on associations, and you want to select all of these files. Then you see you've got that Fuji file there, the RAF, you've got Sony, Pentax, and everything else. And I just click select all and click to OK, and then it's going to view all of these different types of files. And that's basically it for the setting up. I think I'm not sure if it's in the tag on the top toolbar. There's one that says tag. Make sure it says allow file tagging, because that's how we're going to cull the images. We're going to tag the ones we want to dump. And also, I'm not in one of these settings. You can reduce the size of the raw file so as it will go fast. If you have the raw file showing at its full resolution, it does take a bit to flick through them. So if your screen don't go as fast as mine is going, and I'll just show you how quickly it goes, then you may need to just change that setting. Okay, so we'll get down to culling now. So once we've got all the images there, what I do, obviously you're viewing them full screen, and as I say, you can either use the arrow keys on the keyboard and move from one image to the other. Now, supposing we want to dump this particular image, what you do is you press the left spacebar key, the left slash key, and it's in between the letter Z and Shift. Usually bottom left hand corner of your keyboard. That's where it is. And when you press that, on top right hand corner of your screen, a red square will appear, and that means you're tagging it, ready to dump it. Now, if you pressed it by mistake, just press again and it will disappear. Okay, so all I need to do now is either use the arrow keys or the mouse key and go, yeah, save, dump, save, dump, dump, and so on. I'm not going to go through hundreds of photos. I'll just quickly dump, save, dump, and I'm not going to go through them all, as I say, else we'll be here all day. Now, when you go back into your folder, you'll see the ones that have been selected by this tagging. If you see the little red square on the bottom left there. Now you can untag it if you want, if you think, oh, I will keep that. And then all you need to do is come back onto this, I'll just get my magnifier, onto this top toolbar and you'll see the red square. Now if you click onto that, then all the images that you see have been tagged with the red square. So now you can right click on, you can control A, which will select them all, right click and just say delete. And it's as easy as that, that will just delete them all. It's asking you, do you want to send these 10? Yes, send them to trash. Uh, don't worry about it if you do something wrong, it's gone into recycle bin or trash can, so you can get them back out. Now you'll notice we're on this to cull down on the left hand side here, left end of your tree. You know which folder you're in because it's selected with this blue box, and this is the to cull folder. Well, it looks as though there's no images in it now. That's because we only selected the tagged images. So if we click on the tag box again, it shows the images that weren't tagged. So these are the ones we're keeping, and you can just put them into a folder. Now you can either go back through them all again and start to cull them again, or you can just take them into your, if you use Lightroom or whatever, which I do, you can take them into there now that you've got rid of all the dross. Now it may sound a bit strange when I'm saying that I use Lightroom, because you can do this in Lightroom, cull your images by just Xing each image to select it as a reject. But the problem is, well, I find the problem with Lightroom is if you've a couple of thousand images, say you've been to a sporting event, well, you may want to get rid of, I don't know, 1,500 of them, maybe more, because they're not in focus or whatever. So you end up in Lightroom, you're importing 2,000 images, which takes quite a long time if they're raw files, and if they're raw files in JPEGs especially. Then you giving them a name, you're giving them a keyword, importing them into your catalogue, and then you're going right through to dump up more than half of them. So I find that such as this fast done, and this is how I worked like this before I had Lightroom anyway, but this free program fast done can really speed up your workflow, because you can get rid of everything and then drag it into Lightroom, and then if you want to cull again, that's entirely up to you. Now, I did mention at the beginning of this tutorial that I do use Faststone as my main viewer. That's because I found Windows were quite slow. So even when I open this folder via Windows, double click on an image, it's in Faststone already, so I can click through. And I also mentioned that it's not a bad little uh, editor as well. And the thing to do once you're in Faststone, you just move your mouse right across to the left of the screen, and you'll see you've got all these options. You can resize your image, you can crop your image. There's a bit of cloning. It's not a brilliant cloning and that, but it works for small items. And then you've got curves and levels. You've got quite a lot of stuff, and you can easily put a border around it. It's very user friendly program. If we're just going to crop, I'll just show you can just sort of get straight in. I quite often just use the crop anyway, uh, rather than opening Lightroom or whatever, if I just want to do a quick crop on something. But what I wouldn't advise you to do is do much editing on your raw files. This is a JPEG, and it'll lift the shadows and it'll warm it up, cool it down, whatever you want to do, if you just want to do a quick adjustment. But your raw files, you're better taking them into your raw engine to work on, such as Lightroom or on One or whatever you use. And the other thing I mentioned at the beginning is how to set this up as your uh, main viewer. And the thing to do is, once you've downloaded it and it's running, uh, just right click on any sort of JPEG or whatever like this, and go down the list and find something that says open with. So it's asking you what you want to open that image with, and come down right to the bottom and choose default program. Now what you need to do, what I always do is, first of all, it says always use the selected program. I untick that first of all, and then I tick Faststone, which is what I want to use. Then I go back and tick that again. If Faststone's not there, it's not showing, you may have to go and browse for it on your C drive or whatever. And now all of these images will be opening in Faststone. As I say, you'll know, because if you move across to the left, you've got that adjustment panel. If you move your mouse to the top, you've got a film strip view, so you can move right across. And if you move to the right, I can't show you because of my recording program, but if you move to the right, you'll see your EXIF data. I tell you what camera you've took it on and what ISO it was and things like that. So yeah, it's a good little viewer. Um, it's free. I don't usually send them any money out when it's a free program. I usually don't bother, but I actually sent them, I know $5 is peanuts, but I actually sent them that because I think it's a brilliant little program, and it helps you cull your images really fast, as well as some of the other main adjustments. Thanks for watching anyway. Catch you later.